There's a moment when the quiet hum of daily life stops vibrating and the world collectively leans in, when a line is spoken, published, or posted, and suddenly it echoes. That moment arrived the day Teyana Taylor sat down for a routine podcast interview, radiating that mix of calm confidence and unapologetic strength that had become her post-transformation trademark. You could almost feel the energy in the room: soft studio lights, microphones ready, an audience listening from home. She was calm, she was composed. She was ready to speak about the art in front of her music, her creativity, her journey back to herself. But love has a way of shifting everything. And in that moment, love would be the lens through which millions would view her, and through which someone else would respond. It began innocently. The host asked her about upcoming projects, about her vision as an artist and as a mother. They spoke about growth, about the year of healing that followed her high-profile split from NBA star Iman Shumpert, about her decision to lean into self-love, self-care, and self-expression. Teyana responded with the grace of someone who had healed. No bitterness, just clarity. She spoke of peace, of learning to hold herself first, of rediscovering pleasure in life again. Then came the question that changed everything. So, what does love feel like for you now? The host asked, gently, expectantly. There was a beat of stillness. The listeners leaned in. Teyana smiled, not nervously, but knowingly, as if she knew exactly which version of herself she wanted the world to meet today. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and spoke softly. Let's just say I've never felt this kind of peace before, or this kind of pleasure. It was almost elegant, meditative. But when the host asked, pleasure? What kind of pleasure? She leaned in and dropped the line that would fracture social media. Aaron, he understands me. Spiritually, emotionally, physically. I've never been handled like this before. The host froze. So did the tape. She paused, a deep inhale. Then cadence perfect. Iman could never. It was a moment that clipped through the air, landing hard as truth or chaos, depending on who was listening. It took mere minutes for that soundbite to explode. TikTok creators were cut it. Thread commenters dissected her tone and pauses. Fans and critics alike traded bold takes. Within an hour, hashtags like #Aronwin and #ImanCooledNever were trending in multiple countries. For some, it felt like victory. A warrior princess finally owning her happiness. For others, a betrayal. A soft violence served in casual tones, shattering years of curated public affection and memory. She just said Aaron handles her better in every way. One tweet read. Iman somewhere punching the air, wrote another. Others added spice. Tay's literally out here rewriting love stories one sentence at a time. People dug deeper. Was her tone triumphant or tired? Regret? Liberation? Mockery? In that freeze frame of a split-second smile, speculators spun entire narratives. In bedrooms and chat threads, debates raged. Some said it was black female brilliance, no guilt, no regret, just reclamation of joy. Others saw it as public shaming, personal intimacy weaponized for shock value. A portion of fans felt protective, as though a man they supported had been trounced with slanted words delivered with polished venom. Teyana Taylor, who'd been once seen as confident and rising, was now polarizing and powerful in ways nobody anticipated. Amid the storms of opinions, a man spoke, not through interviews or viral tweets, but through silence. Iman Shumpert didn't fire back. He didn't call. He didn't post rebuttals. His first move was understated. A black Instagram story screened with white text. Loud lies. Quiet truths. That phrase rang across the internet like a head-turning rebuke. Quiet, powerful, measured. You could almost hear the air rush in as commentators paused. That phrase alone shifted the tone. It wasn't a rebuttal. It was a refusal to descend. It was dignity rendered in minimalism. And in that silence, a voice spoke louder than any argument. Later that night, he posted again. Shirtless, strong, mid-gym session. Caption, I never had to say it. Again, no tag, no reference. But clarity nonetheless. If Teyana's statement was a knife, this was his shield, quiet strength, and the world noticed. Supporters poured in with comments like silence is louder than clout. You were the prize. Real ones know real. And a seismic shift occurred. Where listeners once saw a bold declaration, many now saw a misstep. A verdict proceeded unspoken. You took the stage, you flamed the spotlight, but the quiet man still stands. Teyana's clip no longer felt like liberation in everyone's eyes. It was reshaped, a moment of diva spectacle, of cold calculation, of wound disclosure. People who once cheered began to ask, was this confidence, or was this catharsis delivered at someone else's expense? While the world parsed subtext, another person sat silently at the other corner of that triangle, Pierre. He had said nothing. And in today's media landscape, silence speaks. Observant fans noticed one change. He had turned comments off on his recent posts. Another, he had untagged himself from a photo with Teyana. Subtle but deliberate. Then came the missed appearances. A red carpet event he was expected at. He wasn't there. No promo. No explanation. Suddenly, there was a question echoing. What did he sign up for? Reports floated that Aaron wanted the relationship to be about them, not their headlines. That he wasn't prepared to be framed as the man meant to deliver pleasure to bullets of press attention. Some said he wanted calm. Others said he felt unanchored, unwilling to cast himself as someone else's storyline. He hadn't spoken, but his stillness was becoming a statement, an energy of retreat, a retreat from the overstimulation of viral verdicts, of living inside another's relationship arc. In a world that demands more drama, he chose peace. Teyana, still not retreating, responded. In true Teyana form, she posted a monochrome shot. Silk row, eyes closed, back tilted in slow perfection. Captioned simply, I said what I said. No more, no less. Fans erupted again. Yas queen, wrote some. Others scolded, you sound bitter. Another comment read, there's a fine line between confidence and explosion. This is the explosion. The back and forth had layers. Then, subtle influencers in Iman's circle began to chip in. One of his friends posted a quote to Instagram. Real men don't have to prove themselves in the bedroom. Their presence speaks loud enough. It appeared innocuous. Until you heard backstage context, it was a rebuttal. A shade, subtle, sharp. The rumor mill exploded. Screenshots of private DMs were circulated. Anonymous voices claimed that Iman had long suspected this behind the scenes, that Teyana had wanted attention more than resolution, stimulation more than security. That he'd given her loyalty, stability, creativity, and this was her response. These stories made their rounds. Pop culture bloggers slammed Teyana for exposing private intimacies in public. Others insisted she had every right to share her truth, bluntly, unfiltered. Headlines appeared with titles like, When Bedroom Talk Becomes a Weapon in Reclaiming Power or Damaging Legacy. One titled simply, Is Empowerment Built on Another's Undoing? At the center of it all, Aaron had gone completely quiet. Until, days later, he broke the void, not with words, but with an image. A tranquil beach scene, sunset hues, caption, Peace is worth more than proof. No tags, no drama, just peace. The effect was seismic. People paused. A quiet retreat from the echo chamber. Fans began saying, he took himself off the pedestal but maintained his dignity. He didn't need likes. He didn't seek support. He sought serenity. Meanwhile, Teyana, still active, subtly began unraveling the narrative. Photos of her and Aaron vanished from her feed. No statement, just gone. The calm before speculation. Then came the follow/unfollow drama. Aaron briefly withdrew, then returned. Fans were split. PR glitch, emotional signal. No one knows for sure, but it added tension to ongoing speculations. It's how relationships leak through indicators, not statements. Then, Teyana posted again, but this time she chose expression over explanation. A black and white video. Her dancing alone in a near-empty studio, no music, just movement. Her silhouette swaying with clarity. It was evocative, subdued. It spoke louder than any caption. Art replacing conflict. Silence replacing statements. Some fans said it was apology. Others called it reclamation. Still others called it art therapy. It was all three, a ballerina from the ashes, moving through sorrow into creativity. A man, rolling through colds of drama, stayed sharp but unobtrusive. He posted gym videos, moments with his daughter. No clapbacks, no chase. When he previewed a new song, the lyrics read, You turned the truth into theater, pain into performance, captioned, turning scars into songs. And that line, it cut across all the heat. A reflective reset. A reclamation not by spite, but by craft, balance, and healing. Gradually, the noise died down. The hashtags stopped trending. The think pieces slowed. People pivoted to new drama. the next triangle, the next online rupture. But in the fading buzz, something lingered. A shared recognition of harm done, to a narrative, to people, to images we trusted, and a fleeting guilt about our own consumption of it all. Three narratives emerged. Teyana's unapologetic declaration of her pleasure and reinvention, Iman's quiet refusal to perform, his dignified pivot toward healing, and Aaron's choice of calm over chaos, retreat over reaction. Each path reflected a response to public love turned public spectacle, and each carried its own lessons. Teyana reclaimed voice, fiercely, sharply, loudly. But in doing so, did she reveal wounds that belonged in private? Did the world need her healing so publicly displayed? Iman reclaimed self, not by shouting, but by withholding, declining the invitation to engage in the spectacle. His silence became power. Aaron reclaimed peace by stepping back, by choosing to exit the narrative that labeled him. He said nothing and regained everything. For the audience, the lesson wasn't about picking sides. It was about recognizing that public personas crash into private lives, and our thirst for access often hurts more than it helps. We yell for vulnerability, then snap judgments like applause and boos. We root for love stories until someone strays from the script, then vilify them for failing to entertain us. In the end, the real story isn't the viral interview or the trending hashtags. It's the tender loss of trust. It's the ripples felt when lines between connection and exposure blur. It's about the cost of living love in the spotlight and the quiet redemption that can only come from distance, humility, and introspection.